having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're jumping straight into your source material today to, really see what's inside.
Yeah, and it's an interesting one today. Our source is basically, it is the data, a list of keywords, phrases, terms you provided.
All focused around tennis, right?
That's right. Very specific corner of the tennis world. Seems to center on two main players and one big event.
Okay, so let's dig in then. The goal is pretty straightforward. What can we figure out just from looking at this list? What story emerges? What can you get from this snapshot?
Well, right off the bat, it's impossible to miss the names Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner.
They're everywhere in the list.
Absolutely dominant. Individually, tennis player, Sinner, Alcaraz, tennis player, things like that. But also, really significantly, them together.
And where are these keywords placing them? What's the context?
Overwhelmingly, it's the French Open. Or, Roland Garros.
Right.
And it gets more specific. Keywords point towards 2025.
The 2025 French Open.
Yeah. And the French Open final. Even drilling down into the men's French Open final.
Right. So not just the tournament, but the very end of it.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. You see Alcaraz versus Sinner. Sinner versus Alcaraz loads of times.
A rivalry.
Precisely. And also Sinner Alcaraz H2H. That's head-to-head. The sheer amount of these suggests the sources aren't just noting a possible match. It feels like they're flagging this as the rivalry, the main event almost.
Like it's the expected final. We even saw Alcaraz versus Sinner prediction.
Spot on. It's building a narrative around that specific confrontation, potentially at that specific event.
So the focus is less maybe on the whole tournament draw and more on this potential climax.
It seems that way from this data, yeah. And then you see other terms related to their careers, like Grand Slams.
The majors.
Right, majors appears, and often tied directly to them, Alcaraz Grand Slams, Sinner Grand Slams.
So the sources are tracking their progress on the biggest stage, framing them by major titles.
Exactly. It suggests that's a key metric being watched in these discussions or searches.
And you mentioned the keywords get specific about how they might play, too.
Yeah, this one phrase, fifth set tie-break French Open, it pops up.
Wow. What does that imply?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? It highlights not just a potential result, but the drama.
The tension.
Yes. The sources seem interested in, or maybe expecting, these really epic, close matches. Battles that go the full distance.
Especially Roland Garros, where that fifth set is different.
Right. That keyword suggests the narrative is about these grueling, high-stakes encounters.
And it's not just on-court stuff, is it? The keywords touch on personal details.
They do. You get Alcaraz age, Sinner age, Sinner age tennis.
Okay.
And their origins, where is Jannik Sinner from? Where is Carlos Alcaraz from? Plus coaching staff.
Right, like Alcaraz coach and Jannik Sinner coach. It mentioned Juan Carlos Ferrero specifically for Alcaraz.
Yeah, which implies that, factors beyond just their forehands and backhands are seen as relevant.
Their age, where they come from, who guides them.
Exactly. It's like the sources are trying to build a fuller picture of why they're successful, why this rivalry is happening now.
The list even seems to place them in historical context. I saw names like Federer, Nadal, Borg.
And analysts, too, like Willander, Courier.
So it's not just about them in isolation.
No, it seems the sources are positioning Alcaraz and Sinner within that whole lineage of men's tennis, part of the ongoing story, the discussion of greatness.
Makes sense. And then there's the practical side, people wanting to watch.
Oh, yeah. Lots of logistical keywords. Where to watch French Open channel, French Open live stream.
And keeping up with scores, French Open results, French Open scores. Standard stuff, but shows the engagement.
Right. And, because it's raw data, you get the occasional outlier. Something like center suspension tennis is in the list.
But no context provided.
None at all, based only on this list.
That's
It's
correct.
just there, part of the data snapshot.
Okay, so if we step back and look only at your keywords, the picture seems incredibly focused.
Yeah, I'd agree.
It's Alcaraz and Sinner, they're central, and their connection to the 2025 French Open finals seems paramount.
Especially as rivals potentially heading for some kind of dramatic clash.
Right, highlighting their chase for Grand Slams, the potential for really tight matches, even those personal details, it all feeds into that main narrative.
This snapshot really suggests that the tennis conversation, or at least this slice of it, is heavily invested in this rivalry as the next big storyline, possibly culminating at Roland Garros next year.
So the final thought for you listening.
Yeah, think about these specific elements, the keywords highlighted. This intense rivalry focus, the 2025 French Open final stage, the talk of tie breaks, Grand Slams, age, coaching. What does this very focused narrative, pulled just from keywords, suggest to you about where men's tennis is heading right now? And what questions does this snapshot make you want to ask next?
Having a life scholarship and being able to afford to go to college made me feel inspired to go.
When I got a life scholarship, it was such a relief.
I knew that I wanted to have an impact. Having a life scholarship through the SC Education Lottery was huge. It gave me the opportunity to make that impact right here at home.
The South Carolina Education Lottery. A better you, a better us, a better South Carolina. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.